I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Quarantine with the Stars. This is our daily show here on AfterBuzz TV, where we catch up with your favorite celebs and see what they're up to during quarantine. I'm your host, Brian Santos, and I am joined by the fitness-loving, literal definition of fitspo, the stunning and talented Brooke Ence. Brooke, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, I don't really have anywhere else that I can go right now, so I'm available.
Definitely, we are all available. So let's talk about that. First, tell me how you're doing and how you've been coping with being safer at home.
Um, I'm doing really well, actually. Luckily, I have some fitness, like gym equipment here at my house, and I think the hardest part is my family's in Utah, so
Mm,
I'm like very far away from, I guess, a lot of people are kind of quarantined like with their family, and I
yes.
live here by myself and my dog, but I'm finding that I am doing a lot of yard work. I'm
I saw that on
coping
your
by
Insta.
I'm coping by pulling weeds and planting plants. So
I
if
love
it's not,
that.
it's good for me, but it's definitely good for my yard.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of time on our hands, so we're all kind of doing things we've been meaning to get to. So,
But yeah,
uh,
it it's not a terrible thing. I think the fact that I normally travel a lot, so I'm
mhm.
kind of enjoying not being able to really be on the go so much. So it's refreshing, and we're doing what we can in hopes that we can sort of help fix the issue, if not slow it down. So
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned you're doing some home workouts. So, how's that been going? I'm sure it's not as ideal as you would like, but how has that been going?
it's good. Um, Not ideal in a sense that I don't have all the equipment that I would normally have in a regular
Hmm.
gym. And then also too, it's just more fun to train with friends, So it's a lot of training by myself, but I find that doing a little bit every day and just training, getting outside really, especially now that it's sunny in Northern
Hmm.
California, has really helped my mood. And I'm able to spend a lot of time with my dog. So at least I'm not all the way by myself. But
I love that. Yes, dogs and pets are the best company. So, especially in these times. All right. So, we're going to talk about your fitness journey in more length soon, but let's talk about some of your work. So, I understand you were on both Wonder Woman and Justice League, as we tried this earlier, Penthesilea. So,
yes.
tell me what it was like working on those blockbuster films.
I It was my first introduction to working on a film or, TV or anything in entertainment. So for me, it was it was mind blowing. Like it was almost like peeking behind the curtain in Wizard of Oz. Like I watch movies and I had an idea of what it took to sort of create that, but what I thought was just like the tiniest bit, like the tip of the iceberg of what it takes to make something like that come to life. So it was pretty incredible, and just enjoying the whole process and all the different people that it takes to make this. It's like this one thing, and it takes, an army to complete it. So it was really
Yes,
cool.
definitely. For sure. It is such a huge production, especially action movies or anything in like the superhero genre, DC universe. Like there's just so much that goes on behind the scenes, like you mentioned. So I love that. Thank you for sharing. So let's talk a little bit about Black Lightning. So I also know that you're doing Black Lightning. So you're kind of not
Yeah.
really a stranger to the DC universe. So how different was it acting for TV than it was for film?
I guess the biggest difference was the size of the production was a lot different. Um, Working on those like big budget, big production movies, there's just so many people that you really kind of stay in your corner, like not your
Hmm.
corner, but you stay with your group. And then when I did the TV, I was interacting with like the whole team a lot more often. I obviously enjoyed being a part of the big production. It was an amazing opportunity, and I met some incredible people. But I did enjoy doing the TV stuff, being able to really communicate almost constantly anytime you were on set with every person that is there working on the project. which was really cool as well.
I love that. So we also talked about we talked about your work, but let's talk about what you have going on right now. So you're going to be on Fox's Ultimate Tag. Can you tell me anything about that show?
I guess what I probably could say is it's a brutal game. Um, I was the last person. I was brought in, like, when they called me, I got a phone call. They gave me the premise, like, a little bit of the premise, and I love I love games, and I love fitness, and I love obstacles, and I like to do stuff like that, so I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to come down and try out." What I didn't know is when I got there, everyone who like, all the other taggers had been there, so they had sort of played a lot of the different things and practiced on all the equipment. And for me, I came in and tried out and I was picked. I was filling a spot. Um, and then we started filming like 3 days later. So for me, my background in sport and fitness and just being an athlete really played a big role because every time we filmed something new, it was my first time seeing it and first time doing it, which was really nerve-wracking. But yeah, it's a intense, brutal game, and all the athletes that were competing and all the the whole team of people who were there as taggers and there as like testers are real athletes, which was really cool. I didn't know if I'd ever be on some sort of like a fitness game show, and but doing like TV and doing like the movie stuff, you learn that like stuff isn't always as it seems, and that's that's kind of the point, like in acting and movies and things like that, like you're acting. um but this was just a full different side of the entertainment world that I hadn't experienced yet, and it was really cool. And yeah, it was I've seen some of the video, and it looks even like 10 times better and more exciting than anything I saw or experienced there filming. So people should get
Definitely.
pretty excited for it, I think.
So what would you say it's kind of like? Would you say it's like Ninja Warrior ass? Would you say it's
I
Wipeout ass?
I think that, I mean, it's definitely a game of tag, so it's very playful. But as far as like the vibe or the look, purely based off of that and like the scene, I kind of felt like it was American Ninja Warrior, American Gladiator,
Mm,
uh, and a little Tron,
okay, I
a little
love that. That's
Tron.
a perfect description. Definitely be on the lookout for it. So that's a
Yeah,
perfect segue. We're talking about your fitness. So let's talk about your entire fitness journey. So I understand you had spinal fusion surgery in 2017, and it was
yeah,
definitely, I'm sure, a life changing experience for you. It also helped to springboard your businesses. So your apparel line, ENCEwear, your skincare line, and your podcast. So can you just preface for me all of that and how it all came about?
yes. So I did have a cervical fusion, 2017, the end of March, and it definitely really, it's one of those things like it was totally out of my control and very devastating because I had sort of, you know, I competed. I was a high level CrossFit competitor, and it really had to take a lot of steps back in regard to my level of competitiveness or my level of fitness. Um, it was hard in the beginning, but what I was able to do with that sort of downtime that I had to have, it was not a choice, was able to really work on my business side. And I was already working with different partners, and I've always been someone who looks, I don't, not so much like what can you give me right now, but what can we do 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road, and how can I build something that means way more than just me as like a competitive athlete. And I had the opportunity to create a clothing line. I have new business partners. Active wear, the goal is it has to be. I'm very athletic, and I'm also very hard on my workout clothes. And I needed something. I wanted it to be cute, comfortable. Um, it needs to hold up in the gym. It needs to be. It needs to be affordable. that was like a really big thing. So the goal is to bring style and functionality to everybody, and keeping the cost very reasonable. So that's something that I always thought I wanted to do it, never knew how I would do it. I've never went to school, or I wasn't working in, design or fashion or things like that. Um, and the opportunity came. I also have an online training program called Naked Training. It's it's an incredible program, app based. It's an ongoing program. We have coaches. We're getting ready to drop nutrition as well. Something like that. I really wanted to be able to create a program for the 99% of people, and not just people, because when I think a lot of people think CrossFit, they think CrossFit competition, but CrossFit is very separate from that as a competition. It's about
Mhm.
functionality and um, feeling good in your skin and being strong and being fit for life, and that's what we really wanted to focus on. I have a podcast. It's called Between the Reps. It's with me and my best friend Gina Chancharulo. um, I'm 30, she's 49, she turns 50 this month, and we bring it's a very relaxed format, um, very conversation, and it's basically talking about, all the things in between the reps. So it's definitely like a health and fitness sort of podcast, but we talk about anything that goes on in our lives and what's happening in the world as well. So um, it's people that listen to it too, they love that it's like our format is that we don't have a format. We usually just drink wine or champagne and talk for an hour. So I
I
have
love
that.
that.
Yeah. What else do I have going on? I launched a supplement line with the company FNX. We launched collagen protein. It is, at the time, I'm pretty sure it was the first of its kind, but the only problem I had with when it came to like a supplement, like a protein supplement, is when you looked at collagen, it never had the amount of leucine, which is like the amino acid that we're looking for when we get protein, in order to help our body have a muscle protein synthesis is what it's called, but basically undergo a process that allows us to recover and build muscle tissue. And so that was what we really fought for when we were creating that. So in one scoop, you get enough protein, you get 3 grams of leucine, and then you're also getting all the added benefits from the collagen as well. So really excited about working with FNX and working on more products down the road.
Amazing, Brooke. That is so great. You have so many things going on, and everybody definitely check out all the things Brooke has. If people want to see more of you, Brooke, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Brooke Ence. Um, you can find me on Facebook. I'm not a huge Facebook user, but everything for me is at Brooke Ence. And then I do have a YouTube channel that I took a big hiatus from, but working on getting back to creating more content. Oh, and then last
Amazing.
thing, totally forgot. I just have so many things going on. Uh, I helped launch a skincare line called
Hmm.
ATHIA Skin. It's for the active woman and man. And right now we just have the women's line, but we are working on launching our men's line as well.
Amazing. Well, like I said, everybody check it out. Check out her apparel line, the skincare line, her podcast. Brooke has so many amazing things going on. You can find her on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at the Brian Santos. You can also find me on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. Thank you so much, Brooke, for joining me. And thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been Quarantine with the Stars. To all of you out there, please stay safe, stay positive, and most importantly, stay home. See you all next time. Thank you so much, Brooke.
See ya.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.